Hey everyone, welcome to the second session of the Youth Entrepreneurial Workshop 2021. As you see right here, we have my nice publisher, Crystal Daye of the DayeLight Publishers. She is the CEO, and I must say, I love this woman so much. Of course, she's my publisher. Um, and I published my book last year, November, and she would have guided me through the process and everything step by step by step by step. And I'm truly grateful for that. I'm truly grateful for her. Um, and I'm super excited to have her on. Yes. So, without further ado, I present to you Crystal Day, and
Yeah.
we are going to hop right into it. Unless you want to start with something, do you want to start with something?
Listen, Raheen, I am so happy to be here with you. Yeah, just looking forward to an amazing conversation. You know that I'm a big fan of the work that you're doing. I think that you are extremely passionate, purpose-driven young man, and yeah, I just love like once you ask me, I could tell you no, because you are just doing an amazing work and being an
Thank
amazing
you.
influencer in your space, and I'm proud of you.
Thank you so much. Gosh, have me a blush. All right. So, the first question I'm just going to ask is, how did the business come about? Before we start with anything else, let's just start with that.
All right, so th- all right, so there is, I would say, is a two part, right? So one, I've always wanted to become an entrepreneur. You remember in about ninth grade, I started to do principles of business, and we were introduced to the concept of entrepreneurship and the idea of having your own business and creating employment and creating wealth. And since then, I mean, I was doing both business and sciences, and I chose to do business. Despite everybody saying, you should do sciences because, of course, become doctor, etc. I just knew that I wanted to get into the business field. Of course, life would have it that in Jamaica, the truth is most schooling system don't encourage entrepreneurship. I don't, we're not.
Yeah.
Of course, with the risk, and of course, for many of us that like me that grew up in the inner city, grew up with a lot of poverty, the idea of entrepreneurship, while you want to have a little business, it's not nurtured. You are cultured to say, hey, go and work for somebody, get a nice government job, collect your traveling, get your 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks vacation off, and that's what best life look like. you know so I want persons to know that, even if you're interested in entrepreneurship, like it doesn't matter where you start your journey, but have that, as long as you have that seed and that desire, it can come to life. Now, fast forward, I was in, I did the right thing. I got a degree. I was in my 9 to 5 job, and I was enjoying my government job. I enjoyed what I was doing as a procurement officer. And I always figure one day I was actually planning to open a restaurant. Me and my brothers, cause we love our belly, and plus we like to cook. I don't know if that's a good reason for have a restaurant, but we like to cook and we love our belly. So why not? And years before, I mean, I remember probably about 18, 19, the Lord had given me the word daylight. And it was Daylight Cafe, again, would have been our restaurant. Fast forward, we thought about having a space, just it just never come to life. In about 2016, I Noah, saved, baptized, waterfield, Holy Ghost baptized Christian. The
Okay.
Lord send me my purpose, show me my purpose, dear Jesus. When we get to that point in
Yes.
our lives, and by then he started to kind of nurture this, this entrepreneurship thing in me. And I got like, it was so heavy on my heart to start a business, but I was thinking more to do coaching and speaking kind of business. So I hired a business coach, and at that time I was writing my first book, but I'd hire an international publisher. And I just felt like the publisher wasn't, like she wasn't available as I would want her to regarding the questions. So I started to pay for courses and just learn the process while doing it. And then in that, the business coach that I was working with, she's like, hey, I think you should help other people to write and publish their books. So for me, I'm like, no, I'm not sure about that. I want to speak and coach and help other people. And she's like, hey, this is what I want you to do, put together a contract, do the research. So, I just did the research, and yeah, from then I just felt like the Lord was saying, yeah, this is what I want you to do. I want you to really help persons to bring their books to life. And yeah, that's how it kind of started. So I tell people all the while that, this was really Jesus's idea, and that's the truth. Like, I can't take credit. It is truly his idea, but I've learned to just embrace the process.
Ah, awesome. Yeah, you see, she literally just talking because she know exactly what she's talking about, and I can appreciate when people know what they're doing, what they get themselves into, and they can actually pour that out onto us, so we can know the journey and know that where, no matter where you start from, you just have to start from somewhere. And from
Yes.
that point, I wanted to ask, how did you know that DayeLight Publishers is what you're supposed to do? Like, you have all those ideas, you have the
Yeah.
responsibility and everything. How did you know, or stuff
All
like
right.
that?
So so I'm gonna one look at the spiritual side and the practical side, right? So
Yeah.
spiritually, it just felt like, you have that peace, but not just a peace. God started to send confirmation. So even before I advertised, like even before I advertised, I was doing publishing. I remember three instances, three pastors called me that the Lord gave them my name to help them to write a book. Nobody knew, like I did not own person knew. And thank, the Bible always say God make you have witnesses. Only my closest friends at that time knew about my idea, but there's nothing that these pastors or anybody would have known that this was something that was on my heart. But God sent confirmation, right? But I kept delaying. So how do you know? One, I believe that God will confirm his word, normally with witnesses. Secondly, he will give you a certain peace. Also, he's not going to call you to do something that you are not equipped to do, even if you personally, because I felt I didn't feel equipped because at the time my book wasn't out yet. And then even when I released my first book and it became a bestseller, and it was this, I was selling over 500 books and all of that, I still did not feel adequate. Like, I didn't feel enough to help other people. I was like, okay, probably,
Yeah.
when I release second book or a third book, then probably I will be good enough. But God would not have called me to, I don't know, to go and fly a plane, all right, or probably to sing, because so a lot of us would that, God is calling you to do something because you are equipped, not because you feel equipped, but because you truly have seen some results in it, or you have some knowledge in it.
Ooh.
No, on the practical basis though, I wouldn't say this is all that I'm called to do in terms of just having one publishing business, to be honest. I do believe that as I've grown as an entrepreneur, I've learned that while I did my degree in business, I started my MBA, right? So I mean, I was qualified to do entrepreneurship and to do business, but it didn't make me feel ready. And one of the
Yeah.
major thing is that as an entrepreneur, you have to solve a problem. Too many people are starting businesses that they feel like is a good idea, but a good idea is totally different from one, a money making idea. So
Yeah.
if there's not a demand out there, if people aren't willing to pay for what you have, it's not a good business. No matter how you convince yourself it is, it's not. Right.
Yes.
And Ryan, you have done coaching with me. And the first thing I say to you is, Ryan, who is this book for? Why would they want to read your book?
Yep.
What problem does your book solve? Though I'm always saying that to you. What
Yep.
problem does it? Because
Always.
if your book don't solve a problem, nobody wants to see you nice. I mean, you're handsome and all, but we're not going to buy your book just because you're handsome face on
Just to
it, right?
see.
Yeah. So I would say, when you're thinking about the business, it must solve a problem.
Yep. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. You're just like hitting, like what I'm saying? Hitting the nail on the head.
And
Is that?
yes.
But yes, that's so true because a lot of people they want to start businesses, and I even mentioned it in the previous episode, where I'm saying like a lot of people want to become entrepreneurs, but they don't understand the time, the effort, and everything that you have to put into your craft and to do what you're supposed to do. And the sad truth is, a lot of people want to become entrepreneurs, but it just might not be for them. So you can jump into something, but even you always talk about strategy. Even to promote the book and to market the book, you always talk about strategies. So I believe that's a very, very, very good point that you just made, and I'm happy you said it. I'm happy you said it. I'm going to make sure I put that one out there for sure.
I want to ask too, as you said, when you think about, because I started a t-shirt business, right? And to be honest, the t-shirts were selling, but there were some things that I wasn't doing right. And I personally felt like the t-shirt business failed because there are some things I didn't do right. So one, I I tried to put out, so I was doing a t-shirt line. I had like 10 designs, and the more options they give people is the less they want to buy, right? Also, I wasn't properly taking records, talking, recording the payments. And so as I get a little money, I'm gonna buy a little gas, you get a little money. So
Yeah.
you weren't even sure what your profit plan looked like. And a lot of persons again are just starting businesses without some strategy in mind. Also, when you're thinking about starting a business, you want to think about what your vision for the business looks like, right? So, okay, and even somebody as an author, I'm always telling you, when you write a book, you start a business. Whether you want to believe it or not, you start a business because you are now in one, you have to sell the book. Two, you have to market the book. Three, now you invest some money to get that book done. So you want to make back something. So what is your strategy to ensure that you make back and also continue making, right? So a lot of persons that are starting businesses, I mean, people say, I don't have to do a business plan or whatever. Fine, you don't have to do a big business plan, but still sit down and ask yourself, okay, who is it for? How am I going to get the products out? What will it cost for me to produce this, and how much would I sell it for? What is there on the market? Are other people there? Are other people charging for this? How much are they charging? Some simple things people are just not paying attention to when it comes on to
Yeah.
entrepreneurship.
Yeah. Yeah. So, question: how do you think? What's the best strategy to invest the money? Because a lot of times we get the money, as you said, we don't know, we don't see where the money is going, because we're just spending, spending, spending. And I know that that's a big problem for a lot of people who want to have a successful business, but because they keep spending, 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 and they're not keeping records. So, what do you think is the best way to invest your money and to make sure you see where the money is going?
Yeah. So one, I do think that it would be helpful if you do register the business, right? This idea, oh, if I register, I have to pay tax at the same time, that's not necessarily true. But one, if you are serious about it, I would say register one to ensure that nobody can take your name, right? So it shows a level of ownership. One, that's one. Two, if you could open a bank account that is separate from your personal account, right? So that way, here's what this would also do for you, especially if one day if you're employed and then you eventually want to go into entrepreneurship full time. If the banks see that money is coming through your business account, can get loans and you can get grants and you understand, because people now
Yeah.
take you seriously. So even with your books, I try to encourage my authors that it's okay to open an account, treat your book like a business, and open an account, make sure the money is passing through. I also say, you don't have to, while it's good if you, I mean, there are so many accounting systems that are free, but even if you don't have accounting system, get a notebook, right? Get a notebook and just write. I started with 20 books, and at the end of the month, this is how many were sold, how much I sell it for, and then kind of just have an idea what money coming in and coming out, right?
Yeah.
So keep some, you don't have to be you don't have to be very meticulous or whatever, just jot it down. um and track your spending as an entrepreneur. Track your spending, right? How much money do I am I spending personally, I mean, for me, initially when I started, when I was working my 9 to 5 job and I was working with a business coach, and everybody's like, why you paying so much money for business coaching or whatever? But for me, I decided, hey, I'm going to not go out, I'm not going to do my nails for, a few months, and I'm going to use that money towards getting coaching so I can get the help that I need. So if you are tracking your spending, what you'll be able to do is see where you can cut back so you can invest. So the question you ask is, how do I invest? Where do I invest? It depends on the kind of business that you want, because one, I do believe that, especially if you're building a business that will have an online presence, how you carry yourself online is very important. So,
Yep.
as an author, like if you submit a book to me and you don't have a professional photo headshot, I'm not taking your book. I'm not publishing that book without a professional headshot, because you can't expect people to take you seriously by giving them their money, but yet still they can't pay if you go do a little decent headshot. That makes
Yeah.
no sense at all. So I do
True.
believe if you're going online, you should invest in your look. Your people look at how you look, how you carry
Yep.
yourself, right? On social media,
Yeah.
etc. They are paying attention, right? So please, I want you to look at, the logos also is not as important, but it is helpful, right? People takes it a little bit more seriously, but have professional headshots. Definitely, that would be an investment. I do believe that one, you should invest in books. Um, so no matter what kind of business you own, if you want to open a bookstore, if you want to start a graphic design business, I guarantee there's a book on Amazon that teaches you how to start a graphic design
Yeah.
business, how to build your hairdressing business, right? So even recently I was thinking about starting a bookstore, and I bought two books about, opening a bookstore. So I do believe investing in books. And the top three books I would say are professional development book, right? Or personal development. So John Maxwell books, books about leadership, books about things that will grow you professionally. Secondly, a book that is in the niche that you're in. So if you're a
Yeah.
graphic designer like you are, or if you're a hairdresser, or look a book about your professional skill. And then also I think a book about money management or marketing. Right,
That's
so
true.
one or the other, because you're not just building a business so you can survive. You want to build a business that will help you to gain wealth. And the truth is, our education system don't teach us to build wealth. It teaches us to go hand to mouth. So the first
True.
thing you do
That's so
is,
true.
once it, yes, it's true, you get a
That's so
you get a
true.
good job. The first thing you want to do is buy yourself a car. You go take a car loan. Then it tells you that, oh, so you meet a little spouse, so may you go take out a mortgage. No, you are stuck in this mortgage for umpteen years. Oh, I need to go back to school, so I'm taking out another loan to go back to school. And you look, and this $100,000 year carry home 10,000, $20,000 a month, and to month. That's what our system teaches us. Now, when you read books like Think and Grow Rich and Rich Dad Poor Dad and stuff, and you learn, oh, but probably instead I buy $1 million car, I could buy two $500,000 car, put one as a taxi, that use that as an asset, and then me not try keep up with, because we buy the expensive car so other people can, Mamba, Ryan get him Honda, and nobody care. You go and buy your Toyota, your second-hand Toyota, buy a two second-hand Toyota, put one on the taxi and one year drive for go anywhere you go, and
Yeah.
bring in income. So I do believe in wealth books. Those are the three things. And finally, I would say hire a coach, a business coach or a business mentor, a marketing coach, a marketing mentor, somebody that will help you to get your business move quicker than you trying to figure it out on your own.
Completely mind blown. You see, it's the way how you say it, and I'm like, I just feel like there are certain things that I still need to know. Like we learn literally every single day. And as much as I'm here listening, I'm like, I'm kind of thinking now, like, what else can I branch off into? Like, this is helping me so much, and I can't wait for this to premiere because I'm super, super excited. You are literally giving some amazing, amazing points. So when you talk about tracking your spending, you talk about money management, all of those stuff. So with all of that now, in itself, let's talk about sacrifice. Sacrificing for your business, because I believe that's a very, very important part. Like what you say with the nail for your month, like that is a sacrifice, because some people feel as if it's a must, and if you don't do it, then I don't know. But let's just talk about sacrifice for a quick minute. So
Yeah. So one of the things I believe, so as a Christian, one, we talk about obedience better than sacrifice. That's what the scriptures say, right? And the
yeah,
thing with obedience, and submission, these surrender, these words, is that it sounds like you're losing something. But I've learned, I did a podcast recently called Surrender is Not a Cost, it's an investment. When you surrender and give up something, you're not an idiot. When you give up something, you should expect a return. So the idea that, oh, every week your friends go out to party, and you spend $2,000-3,000 at the Porsche, and and these at restaurant, and make these people like nothing. Like, I love to enjoy myself, I love food and all of that, but if you can save that money and towards something else, I guarantee when the time come for you to spend that money, or you're making enough money where you can enjoy yourself, you're not miss nothing. I can guarantee you not
not
miss
a
anything.
thing.
So one of the things as an entrepreneur is discipline, right? You have to be disciplined. You have to, one, all right, let me give you three things. One, have a vision for yourself and your business. Let me tell you something. I tell people, I sat down and I looked at, how do I want my lifestyle to look like when I'm starting a business? And it means that I want to be able to show up at my daughter's sports day without somebody telling me I can't go. It means that I want to travel. I set up my business where I could travel all over the world and still work. This is why when
Yeah,
COVID hit, it didn't affect me. Even though I had an office space, I was able to give up my office space and still work from home and still serve people. Why? Because I set up the business, because that's a vision that I had for my business. Sit down and ask yourself, what is my vision? How do I want my lifestyle to look? How much money do I want to earn? Right? What does that look like? Secondly, why? What's your why? Because if your why is not bigger than all your current reality, then you won't be motivated. So
yeah,
what's your why? It means that some people are going to say, Raheem, you used to come out with, we you can't, my, yeah, waste man, no, you're not come out. It's okay. I guarantee
yeah,
that when you start making enough money,
yep.
right? Nobody now call it waste man again.
It's
I
true.
guarantee, right?
It's
Or
true.
as a woman, them tell us, oh, you're switch, yeah, rich and switch. No, me not rich yet, but me I work on it. So you have to just get over people and go after your why. And then, as I said, the final thing, I believe that you have to become disciplined, and discipline meaning sacrificing some things that I love right now for the greater good. It means that being a person of integrity and of your word. If you can't keep your promise to yourself, how are you going to keep the promise to your clients? You're promising your clients things. If you can't keep your promise to yourself, how are you going to be so you want to be a woman or a man of your word for yourself? And I do believe that in building a business, it gets hard. You have to remember the vision, you have to remember the why, and you only will stay focused and disciplined if you remember those two things.
Yes, absolutely. And I love how you speak about discipline. I mean, it all brings us back also to having integrity and having a character. Because if you're going to build a business, nobody wants to do business with somebody who they already see as unprofessional. Because a lot of people, as you know, people judge the book by the cover. So if you don't carry yourself a certain way, if you do not have that character or that integrity, because you can look upon you, Crystal, and know that you're a woman of integrity and you have the character. And that's the type of that's what you want to show to people who, you already have a business. You want people to see those things so that they can know that, oh, I can put my trust in Crystal. I can put my trust in DayeLight Publishers because they will give me the best service. And it's the way how we talk to people and communicate with people. And it's the way of how we also network. So that's a very great point, to be honest. And I'm really happy that you mentioned these things. Um, what do you think, or what do you believe are good qualities in a leader?
Um, so what? So here's the thing with leaders, sometimes we get caught up in the idea of leadership of as only, oh, I have a business with no much employees, or I have I'm the leader at you at church, so I'm in. But one, I think leadership starts with yourself. Can I really lead myself in a way that is where I want to go? Too many people are being led by other people and other people's dreams and other people's perception of them. You have to start with leading you, right? Where you are. Like the Bible tells you, you are the head and not the tail. You have to stand up in that. Also, secondly, practice leadership in your family. Practice leadership with those among you where they can see you as somebody that they can look up to. So some good qualities of a leader. One is that person is a person of integrity, right? Lead with their values. Now, here's the thing: people values will differ. Meaning, you have somebody that, for example, some of my values include education, so I'm always studying. Um, my family, so people would always see me posting my family. Transparency is another value, so you hear me share a lot
Mhm.
on authenticity. No, that's not everybody's value. I have a friend, when we did a values test, her value is peace. So she value peace so much, she don't entertain conversations that so you want to know your values and then lead by your value, and don't try to fit into anybody else mode. Another thing with leaders, they are teachable, right? Too many people, especially young people and millennials, everybody
My
think they knows
God.
what's the best. So you get a
Yes.
degree, you're the brightest. You accomplish an award, you're the best. No, like I remain teachable at all time. There's always I can learn from Raheen. I can learn from you, right? There's no age limit to who I can learn from, what I can learn. So a leader must remain teachable. I think at one a very important part of leadership is being a servant, right? You have to realize, especially because we're talking about entrepreneurship, Ryan. This part I wanted to bring out in the interview. The
Mhm.
business is not about you. You
Yep.
ain't buying your own things. Don't build a business depending and vex when your family members don't support you. No,
Uh,
you're building a business that will serve people, right?
yep.
So, as an entrepreneur, as a leader, you want to be a servant leader. I'm looking at how can I give value. This is why when Apple came out, no matter when somebody will say, when you become a high iPod or Apple fan, you don't change, right? Because one, the
True.
longevity of it, right? The
Yes.
promises. So when Apple came out, they weren't trying to compete against other computers. They were trying to build a lifestyle around that, right? Also, when it comes to, as I said, with leaders, you want to think about how can I serve people and serve them authentically. Especially because, again, depending on the kind of business you have, you will have competitors, right? So don't try to compete on price, right? Don't try to compete on value. Compete on how you can serve people better. And I think those are some of the things that leaders should keep in mind.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because I know a lot of young people who they want to start a business, but they are not teachable. So you tell them something and they believe as if, oh no, I got this. I already know what I'm doing. But two things. You don't have to change your idea entirely because of what somebody says, but there's always something that you can take from it and apply to your business. So you wouldn't need to change your business plan entirely and do it how they are doing it because you're doing your own thing. But there are some things that we just don't know because I mean, if you're just hopping into it just like that, you don't know anything. You're just jumping into it because you want to do it, and that's a big problem where people want to start a business but they have no idea what they want to do, or they feel as if they already know everything. So that in itself is a very big mistake to even do up to date. So while we're at that, what do you believe are some mistakes we should avoid when we are going to start a business or planning to start a business?
Hmm. Mistakes to avoid. One, depending on the kind of business that you are trying to start, I would say don't start a business with a lot of loans. So unless you definitely are like starting a supermarket where you can know that, or probably a restaurant, like a big establishment where you're able to say, hey, I'm going to ensure to make back this big money. But I would say try not to start a business with taking a lot of loans, especially if you're just testing the business idea, right? So I would say try to save or even get family and friends to invest better or stuff, but not a lot of loans, especially if you're trying it out. The next mistake I would say is trying to build a business just around your good idea, right? Again, a good idea doesn't mean it's a profitable idea. So do your market research. Don't start a business without doing a market research. Who is your ideal target person, right? Your target audience, a target market. Who are they? And go and talk to them. Find out if they're willing to pay for this. Find out if, do your research on what's happening and see where you can where your footing is, and try to put yourself out there that way. Find that unique selling proposition. So even though there are other people doing the same thing, what will make you different, right? How will you differentiate yourself? I would say don't start a business without thinking about the marketing aspect of it, right? Because business, nothing will sell itself. You must have a marketing plan on how you're going to get the product or service or program, whatever you're putting out there. How are people going to know about it? um Another mistake is not using social media, right? Depending, no matter what kind of business you have right now, especially with COVID, we have learned that you can't avoid the online space, no matter what kind of business you have right now. I mean, my father is a has been was a I would say a entrepreneur. I mean, he wasn't, but he had a furniture business, right? So those time growing up, nobody is thinking about furniture business online and all of that. But what you found is now, there are so many furniture business that are now on Instagram, and they are making money. Why? Because they, unlike the little man like my father and stuff that were not using social media, a lot of people are using social media, because that's where, like, anywhere we are going, the first thing we do is type in restaurant in Kingston, all of that hashtag hairdressers in Alpha Tree, etc. So utilize social media no matter what kind of business you have. And the last mistake I would say, yeah, just not spending time, not growing you. So that means investing in you and investing in your knowledge. Your business can't grow past you. So if you are capped at, say, earning $100,000 every month, and that's what all you want to earn, and that's all your potential. The truth is, there is potential for growth, but you can't go 200, 300, 400,000 in that business if you don't grow as an individual, grow your knowledge, grow out of your limited mindset, etc. So I would say those are the mistakes that I see a lot of people make, trying to borrow too much money to start a business without testing the idea, not testing the idea. So I would say definitely go and test the idea. Not having a marketing plan. Please ensure you invest in marketing, putting together a plan. Number four is avoiding social media. That's a mistake. Definitely, no matter what kind of business you are using, there is potential for online. And then not growing professionally or growing. That's a big mistake. And I would say spend time investing in growing so that your business can grow.
You're the professional people. Here also know what you're talking about. um, so my next question is, because as you mentioned, COVID, right now it's very important because a lot of people, because they will do their business outside of their home and places closing down, this and that. However, because we're in COVID, how do you promote your business? How do you promote your business and market your business to get the word out there?
All right. So while I can speak generally about my business, I also help other people with their businesses. I do love marketing and do marketing. So one, I think that with COVID, it has again forced us to realize that there is an online space that we can, and that's where everybody is. So if you have a website, ensure that it is search engine optimized. So meaning, if somebody type in plumber, top plumber in Jamaica, if your website is properly standardized and SEO friendly, then your business will come up as one of the top businesses. So I would say invest in getting your website, etc. If you have a website, that is. Secondly, if you don't, definitely I would say try to utilize email marketing. Email marketing is still emails. Anybody can say they check their emails at least once per day. So utilize email marketing in your business. And no matter what kind of business you have, whether you have a hairdressing business, any kind of business, dentist, if you're a dentist, a doctor, what email does is keep persons up to date. So even like KFC and even these delivery people, right, that are no, I mean, once you deliver with them ask you what your email address. And why do they do that? So that they can tell you all the deals and remind you. So utilize email marketing when it comes on to social media, when it comes on to the COVID and all of this lockdown. I would say definitely again utilizing social media, boosting posts, getting exposure. Another one is what we call reciprocal marketing. So reciprocal marketing is simply giving back and also net collaborating with other people. So what like Raheen is doing for me right now, me coming on this is exposing people that Raheen knows to my business, right? So if more persons can collaborate and do reciprocal where I post you, you post me, we share things, then that kind of marketing has been very, very effective right now. And the last kind of marketing technique that is working is what we call influencer marketing. Right now, influencer marketing right now again has always been powerful. What is influencer marketing? In using influencers to to promote your products. So this is why you would see Shelly is signed up as a Grace ambassador, right? Why? Because Shelly is known for family, Grace is known for family. So Grace want to utilize people, influencers, to get people to think about their brands. So that's just an idea of big companies, but smaller companies, what you find is that there are a lot of people that are influencers. I see pastors right now with a lot of social media followings and stuff are advertising like insurance company. And why influencer marketing is powerful is because people love to hear what people say. So if I say, hey, yo, Ryan, some go Reggae Mills, the new restaurant at Devon House, you must check it out. The next time you and your friend thinking about a restaurant, you're going to remember that I said this, right? And if I take some pictures there and etc., then you're going to want to go and experience it. So that's what influencer does. So right now in social media, in COVID and quarantine and all of that, those are the top marketing strategies that are working. Website, email marketing, reciprocal marketing, talk, marketing each other, influencer marketing, and there's one more and social media advertising.
Yeah, awesome. And I have my book right here, right, my name. So if I seem a little bit distracted, I'm still writing. um, so so moving on to the next question, I have like 2 to 3 more questions left. Um, what do you enjoy the most about your business and about everything that you do overall? You're a coach, you do this, you do that. There must be so many great experiences and memories that you've already created and so much more to come. But what do you think, or what do you believe you enjoy the most about what you do?
All right. So I have multiple brands slash businesses. So you have Crystal Day brand, which is Crystal that promotes my books and my speaking and my corporate trainings that I do, right? So and then the business coaching aspect of what I do fall under Crystal Day. And what I would say, one, for me, the writing, because I've always loved writing. So when people give me feedback about how my books have best them, I don't know if money can buy that experience of saying, hey, or my podcast, they listen to my podcast and they have their mindset shift or something like that. So I don't think anything bigger than knowing that I'm transforming lives is more important. When it comes on to like DayeLight Publishers, to see you, Ryan, that every time you take a picture with your book, every time what day when you become you were on the Amazon bestseller list, just to see the joy that comes from you gives me joy. Like that's it. And that is the truth, right? Just the joy that you bring, it makes me know that what I'm doing is very impactful and is kingdom worthy. um for example, I do Christian Coaches Alliance, and again, seeing coaches when they launch their business, when they are making their money, when they are serving others, and I see the testimonials. For me, I would say overall, to watch the impact that I've had is number one. Secondly, I would be lying to say I love the freedom that I have as an entrepreneur. So my
Yeah.
mom, my brothers, all of them migrate. So basically, right now it's just me and my daughter. My dad live in Jamaica. So the other day, I was able to spend holidays with my mom, right? And spend the holidays. If I was able to spend 6 weeks, with my mom, with my stepdad, enjoying. If I had a 9 to 5 job, I would have to think about 1 week, 2 weeks after run come back home. But I could be at home, go live, promote my business, serve people, and still. So I love the freedom. And the final thing I would say regarding entrepreneurship is the income capacity. So I've worked with government for more than 10 years. I've been working with the government sector, and we know that with working for people, probably every 3 years they get a 2.5% increase, maximum maximum 3% increase. But then, gas is raising, food
Yep.
has raised, but yes, still I'm getting a 2.5%. So everything is raising by 50, 60%, but I'm getting a 2.5 raise. Now, as an entrepreneur, I can say, hey, you know what, I can launch something and say, hey, you know what, this is my target for this launch. Whether, for example, when I launched my last book, Dear Insecurity, I'm like, you know what, I want to do a pre-launch. So I want to make at least $1,000 for pre-launch. So it means that I put up a pre-launch strategy. People buy the book before it release, and I make $1,000 US, right?
Yeah.
And the book not release yet, but so the income capacity as an entrepreneur is amazing if you're willing to do the work that it takes. So people probably hear me say $1,000 a while ago and get excited. Oh my God, US
Yeah.
dollars.
Oh,
But
oh
you have to
yes.
realize that I spent sleepless nights writing that book, right? I had to pay for buy courses where I can learn how to use certain softwares, right? So it's not like, oh, overnight success. I put in the work. So when I put in the work, then I'm able to get back the financial investment that I desire. So definitely income capacity is beyond what I would ever be able to work at my 9 to 5 job.
Oh yes, that those ladders sound very nice, I must say. Very, very, very nice. The money made my head a spin. I must say, listen, people, when I was writing my book, and even after I wrote my book, Crystal was there. And hey, Crystal, you pushed me, no? Hey,
Thank you.
even when I think I was like 40 something on the bestseller list, something, and Crystal was like, she was like, okay, let's do this. And we started to push, and we started to do more things and the new strategies, more promotion, more, and it was just amazing. So
Uh,
even in this short space, while I'm saying, if you ever plan to write a book, and trust me, I think it's like my biggest achievement so far, to be honest, because to know that I wrote this, and you can do some things, and sometimes you're so uncertain. I did not go into it uncertain, like the whole process, because we had a consulting session first, right? I believe we did.
yeah.
um, and we spoke about it and everything. She asked me to like to tell her about myself and everything. I'm already there, so I guess at that point she wanted to see, she wanted to feel it out, feel me
Yeah.
out, like see what's going on and what's to come. And we spoke about my idea and everything. And here's my book somewhere behind me with big DayeLight Publisher down here, so people ready. But listen, I'm,
Thank
I'm
you.
literally so appreciative of the work that you do, Crystal. And I'm happy that you really pushed me to do this, because, I mean, there have been times when, because I wanted to published from way, way, way back when, but because of the money, and I didn't get it in time, and then all of them love this stuff there happen. And then when the book was supposed to be published, before that, she told me what I should do before, during, and after. So she gives you the steps that you need. She not tell you no unnecessary. She not gonna tell you to go buy up this and go buy up that, and none of them something there. So it's an authentic thing because one, as I said, I knew her to be someone of who has a great character and integrity.
Thank
So
you.
if you want to write a book, because I know a lot of people who they want to write their book, but they don't know where to start, and I've been pushing them to you. So because I don't know of other publishing people, especially you know a lot of people, even as Christians or whatever, they want to get people who are within the faith and stuff like that. And even
So
so,
I want
it's
to
like,
interject. Because you know the truth is, Ryan, and this is why I have to be authentic to you. Because there are some people that probably don't work with me because I am. You know, I'm very nonsensical. Like I'm. If that a foolishness, Ryan, I'm gonna take a picture that go up on it. That not gonna make sense. Like I'm working on being a little bit more polished. I'm gonna be a little bit more polished. But the truth is, I want the best for my clients, and that is just the truth. And what I found is that a lot of people, there are a lot of people right now in the publishing space in Jamaica. And sometimes when I see the book covers and see what people put out, I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. You know, I'm not going to allow my clients to just do like when you go into a bookstore, they must know that writing book was professionally published, right? Sometimes you
yep,
go and see some books and it look like okay, you know, and this is affecting the industry because here's the thing: a lot of these bookstores now are saying, "Hey, I am not going to take your book unless I see your book," and because it's people are not producing professional things. So I appreciate you saying that, and probably my approach sometimes is very nonsensical. Also, I'm about God's business, and that's the truth. This is not for me. It's just about money, right? Because I'm not a show off, but I'm a brilliant girl, right? I graduated from Alpha as the top girl at at Alpha. I have a degree, like I'm bright and I study. I study like whenever just study like my books and me sit down and study, right? So it's not just about money, but it's about people. And you know, I push you to say, hey, think about who this book will impact, right? And this is why I love what you do because you have found your niche and understand, hey, you know what? I'm drawn to young people based on my passion, based I'm going to help young people. And when I saw you share the story, you know, about you were just sharing the story about you not finishing high school initially, and you know, that's what unlocking purpose is. This is why you can hold a book and say, hey, I finished it because despite the odd, and a lot of people are looking for spoon feed, and I'm not about that life. I'm
no.
about that person that is willing to say, hey, what I will do the faith step, I'll take the faith step if I'm willing to accomplish what God has called me on this earth to do. And that's why I love what you're doing.
Yay. See what I tell people? You can't go wrong. Quality service, and she's going to tell you as it is. And even with friends and anybody in your personal space, you need people to tell you the truth, even when it hurts. Because I'm pretty sure if there was anything in that book that was not supposed to be there, trust me. And
Yeah,
let me
yeah.
tell you, not one mistake is in my book. Not one single mistake because I read over my book and there's not one single mistake in that book. So just so you know, the professional service and the quality service that you get from DayeLight Publishers, and I'm not being biased here, just talking
Yeah.
because Crystal is on the screen. I've been pushing people to come to DayeLight Publishers
And,
because a lot of people they want to write a book because
and
they say that they have a story, they say that they have this, they say that they have that, and I'm like, cool, consult Crystal. I'm just upon Crystal, 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 because people need to know that even though you have a story, you need somebody because I didn't know entirely how to get it out there. You know, I didn't know how to put everything in order and all of those stuff. So I really, really appreciate DayeLight Publishers and the head of
you're
DayeLight
welcome.
Publishers because to be honest, my book is
Thank
where it
you.
is now. because of Crystal, because I couldn't do it myself. I didn't know what I'm getting myself into. I couldn't self-publish, and even though, as we spoke about earlier, the money that we put into it, it's an investment, and I would have looked into self-publishing, but I couldn't do it myself. I couldn't do it myself because there's just so much to do. So we have to appreciate the job, and we have to appreciate everything that people do, because we don't know the behind the scenes of what they do, and all of them lovely stuff there. But one last question before we go. What is your greatest achievement since you have started your whole entrepreneurial journey?
Hmm. This one is a bit hard. Here's why. Because I'm that person that celebrate everything. Right? So I make a big deal out of everything. Life is short. Let me tell you that. Celebrate every little thing, right? So that's a little bit challenging, but I would say one, I mean, I've been a full-time entrepreneur since 2017. So that's what, 4 years now. And the fact say when I did for hungry is a big it's a big accomplishment. Nah, listen, yo,
Please.
it's hard enough. Yo, entrepreneurship hard enough. People,
It
sometimes
is.
the client them don't nice, you know. I worse yeah, Christian if you tough it out, they can't, So the fact that me I wallet like a real Jenna. That's what the young people forgive me. Me have two teenagers in my house, so me know words like Jenna. But yeah, so the fact that I've made it so far is a major accomplishment. Two,
Yeah.
I remember I think it was last year we were nominated for in the customer service. So Jamaica one of the top one of the companies for customer service. So that was a
Mhm.
big deal for me, right? That no somebody nominated and vote for us to be, nominated for the customer service award. And while I didn't win, me win. You can't tell me say I know me win. Cause me I got the video and be a team. Cause me frightened. And then I would say, yeah, so we have published over 100 books so far. We have worked with persons from Nassau, Holland, Switzerland, Dubai. I'm working with my first Dubai client right now. Japan, the US, Canada. No say this. I was born and raised in Maxfield Avenue, jungle, right? Like this little
Mighty
ghetto
God.
girl having that impact. Jesus, like may I tell you no?
Yep.
If you're not saved, give Jesus a chance. May I tell you, He's truly will do exceedingly abundantly all you can
Yep.
think and imagine. And I think the final thing I would say, as an accomplishment, I've been on some top podcasts. So podcast is not as popular in Jamaica, but in the US is a big thing. And somebody like, especially there are two major podcasts I was listening to for years, and they both reached out to me to interview me on their podcast, the Kingdom Driven Entrepreneur and the Christian Publishing Show. And when they reached out to me to say, hey, I heard about your story, I want to interview you, that was a big deal for me. So I would
Yeah.
say those are my top four right now. That's a
Uh,
good question. I should definitely post,
yeah.
do a screenshot this part and put it on Instagram.
Yeah. So before we close off, because I'm done with all my questions, before we close off, I'm going to give you the opportunity to talk more about your business, and get people to get familiar with your business and what you do, the things that you offer, and everything. If there is anything like a podcast, I'll be putting that in the description box, so they'll be able to see it and check it out also. But the floor is yours. You can go ahead, take the floor.
Um, I mean, I feel like you have advertised my business enough. In terms of DayeLight Publishers, we help you to write, publish, market, and monetize your book. So I tell people that there are different states in regarding the writing book states. So if you have an idea, you want somebody to write, like help you to get the idea out, I would help you. I'm a book coach. I'm a certified international book coach. I help you to bring the idea to life. Then of course we do the publishing for you. You just pay us and you keep all the rights to your book. And then marketing, I'm especially very passionate about marketing because books don't sell themselves. And then monetizing is now, how can I make money beyond my book? So how can I use my book to coach? How can I use my book to speak? How can I use my book into courses? So monetizing. So that's kind of where my focus is. My podcast, Diary of a Jesus Girl podcast, definitely go and listen it if you want to laugh, if you want to cry, if you want to have real conversation around the Christian faith. The Diary of a Jesus Girl podcast. And finally, I think I'm passionate about marketing overall. So if you are a small business owner, preferably a service-based business, I don't do product-based businesses outside of books. So only products I help persons to market is books. But if you have a service-based business, for example, anything that you want to bring, if you want to see how you can, you know, market your book through email marketing, using marketing strategies. Yes, I do have a master's. I'm doing my master's in marketing, in business marketing in business. So I love to help people with marketing. So that's kind of where my focus is: book, brand, business, and that's me. And I'm all over social media, so definitely add me. Follow me on Instagram for my crazy stories. And yeah, thank you, Raheen. Raheen, I'm just telling you that we're not hearing you right now. Raheen, we're not hearing you.
So I was saying, thank you so much for taking the time to come on this Sunday
Definitely.
evening or Sunday night down there. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate you coming and putting all this out. I will be posting your links, everything to your podcast and book in the description box whenever I'm here. So thank you so much again. I have so much notes right now because trust me, I did not know everything, to be honest, and I have some things that I will be implementing for myself and be putting those things together so I can get my business up and running somewhere. And
Yeah.
I'm super excited about this entrepreneur because I feel like there's so much, there's a lot of valuable tips that you have given. I'm pretty sure you'll have some. So again, thank you so much. Thank you so much everyone for joining the second session of the Youth Entrepreneurial Workshop 2021. Stay tuned. Uh, so, Chris, don't leave the stream there. I'm just going to finish the show and see you backstage. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much.